of times the attitude that we have is, I pay so much money, I'm sending my children to school for so many hours, shouldn't that be enough? I'm like when I outsource my food production, I expect that I pay for it, I get it. If there's a problem, it's the problem of the institution. Similarly, I think about that in the way that I deal with my chinuch. Whereas when the Torah describes how is successful chinuch managed, how is successful education managed, the Torah says very clearly, V'shinantam levonecha, you want your children to know the message. V'dibarta bom, you should speak about them. You know how it animates the child? Is when they see not you telling them to do something, not you hiring somebody to tell them to do something, but rather when you do that something yourself. When Torah is a primary mode of conversation, when the ideas that you run to, the way you conduct yourself, it's not just about sports, entertainment, and convenience, but it's about ideas, values, and the Torah. When those matter to you, our children will also speak about it. Again, when you're in your house, again, the way that chinuch happens is through modeling. We want to be successful, we do need the school, but as a partner, not simply as outsourcing the role of what really is predominantly the parent's responsibility. There needs to be zero daylight between all of those four entities. We need to ensure that peers, our friends, and friends our children hang out with, us as the parents, the Ribbon Shalom and the teachers are all, it's the same message all the way through. I remember seeing a beautiful cartoon a number of years ago that had a picture of a father who was davening at home. He had his talis over his head and his tefillin on his head and he's davening. Then he looks over his shoulder and there's his little 2-year-old pacifier mouth standing up by the table, blanket over their head, and a little ABC block on their head where the tefillin is, looking at an ABC book upside down. And that's precisely the message. We want our children to act like we aspire, then we need to model that behavior. I remember that a number of years ago I was reading a Calvin and Hobbes comic, Bill Patterson's incredible insight into the human psyche, where this boy Calvin is talking to his imaginary friend Hobbes and says, let's play a game of Monopoly. And Hobbes says, I don't want to play Monopoly with you. He says, why? It's so much fun. He says, yeah, I know about the Swiss bank accounts in your shoe, and I know about those interest-free loans that turn bad afterwards. And it's comical, but I'd like to give you the foil story to that. When I grew up in South Africa, there was a family, and the parents noticed that their oldest 3 kids used to play Monopoly every night. And they would take the Monopoly board out, they'd put it on the bed, they'd play, and then they'd put it underneath the bed and carry on the same game. But the parents noticed the game was not ending. And they said, listen, at a certain point, somebody has to win. Somebody's going to go bankrupt, somebody has the monopoly, and that's the way it works. And the children said, no. Actually, in this game, what happens is when somebody is experiencing financial issues, we create a gemach, everybody contributes to it, and we resurrect them so the game keeps going. If you think about that for a second, what kids are the kids who are going to be talking about Swiss bank accounts in their shoes and interest-free loans? And which kids are the ones talking about gemachs? Well, it depends what their parents are talking about at the table. It depends what mattered to their parents. It depends how proud their parents were of one versus the other model. And that's the lesson. The lesson for us is chinuch starts at home. Even though we do employ and we do partner with the most incredible institutions.